Looked like you really leveled up.
I think it was all very good for me, very good for my learning.
Can you tell me a little bit about what happened between the first PSG series and the second PSG series?
We just kind of rolled over and died sometimes.
Does that make the team worse?
There is usually communication about this, yeah, and
Now you have a new mid laner.
but I do think the way Quad wants to play the game is very in line with how we have learned to play the game over spring.
And I'm pretty sure they're out to get you.
Personally, for me, not really. There's no rivalry for me.
Massu, talk to me a little bit about MSI for you specifically. It looked like you kind of had a glow up, especially your laning and your team fighting. Looked like you really leveled up. Maybe that was from scrims or from your boot camp. Talk to me about your experience during MSI.
Yeah, I think MSI for me was honestly a pretty positive note. Of course, it didn't end anywhere near where I wanted it to or in the way that I wanted it to end. But just in general, the tournament, the atmosphere, the scrims, just the players that I got to play against, I think it was all very good for me, very good for my learning. And yeah, I think I took away a lot from it.
Can you tell me a little bit about what happened between the first PSG series and the second PSG series? A lot of people pointing to the T1 massacre that happened, but your perspective on it.
Honestly, for me, personally, I can't speak for all my teammates, but for me, the T1 loss didn't really demotivate me for the PSG series. Of course, it's really disappointing for me and frustrating that we lost in the way that we lost, which is kind of we just kind of rolled over and died sometimes, which is a bit frustrating, but I don't think it affected me coming into the PSG series. I was just focused on playing the next game after we lost the T1. But I do think maybe it did affect the team morale a bit, especially since the first game ended so quickly. I think it did affect some of our confidence. So I think it did negatively affect the PSG series just because maybe we had less confidence in ourselves.
After what happened against PSG, what did your coaching staff, what did the team talk about? I've never been in a room where it's just after something like that, it must be soul crushing. So what happened after that?
Usually there isn't much talking after that. I think there was a few things where we went in and we instantly saw a few points that we wanted to see. Other than that, really not much talking. Everyone is just kind of having their own space because we were all obviously pretty crushed from losing that and having to leave early. So right after the loss, there isn't much. It's just more time and space that's given to us. And then in the coming days, there's just meetings, there's just talks between teammates, between coaches, stuff like that.
Does the fact that it ended on such a sour note and how short it was, does that make the team worse? It feels like a lot of people are disrespecting FlyQuest after what happened, but up until the finals, everyone was on the FlyQuest hype train,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do think in esports and even in sports, there's always a recency bias, which is kind of normal when you think about it. People just see that, oh, this team isn't doing well right now. They probably won't do well in the future, which is a bit flawed, but that's how some people think. And I do think MSI definitely made our image more negative to the public, I guess, which is normal after you have a bad performance. So I don't think much of it.
Now you have a new mid laner.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
There is usually communication about this, yeah, and the way that the decision comes about is usually through a lot of people coming together, talking, researching, and just kind of seeing the pros and cons of having this player or that player be on the team. So that's mostly, I guess, what happened behind the scenes, which I wasn't too involved in, and then none of us were. And then, we were just having information communicated to us, and we kind of just learned about it as we went through the off season, and yeah, we trusted that our management could make the right choice.
All right, yeah, I asked because I was talking to Fake God about Tomio joining the roster, and he was like, "Yeah, one day I just found out that when we started scrimming, it was Tomio, not Boogie, and management made that decision, and they didn't really ask for his input."
That is interesting.
So, have you scrimmed at all with Quad?
Yeah, we have been scrimming with Quad.
How's his English?
Honestly, because Quad was already in our academy team, so I spoke to him a little bit from that time. I think his English has gotten like a lot better, which was really impressive to me because like I've been around a lot of people that didn't speak English as their first language, and the pace that they learned at is usually like normal. But I think he learns very quickly, which is impressive. And yeah, I think his English is pretty good. He understands what we're saying. He knows how to put his words or like his thoughts into a few words, so he can like effectively let us know what he wants to do. So it's been pretty good.
I know that the leader on this team is inspired, and sort of inspired and Bupa are usually the ones kind of pushing the game forward. Changing the mid laner, bringing in someone different like Quad, who might have a different play style, does that change the dynamic at all? The way you guys want to play as a team, or not really?
Of course, I would think it does, especially if he wants to play in a completely different way than what we were set up to do from spring. But I do think the way Quad wants to play the game is very in line with how we have learned to play the game over spring. So I think he integrated himself really like seamlessly into our team.
In, I want to say, 24 days, you play against Dignitas. Now, Dignitas has FlyQuest and Spica, and I'm pretty sure they're out to get you. Do you? Is there a sense of rivalry from your side of the team, or is it just like all the content creators kind of like hyping this up?
Personally, for me, not really. There's no like rivalry for me. I liked playing with Jensen. I was like I would like to consider myself friends with him during the time we were on the team. So I like him as a person. So there's no rivalry for me, but it is exciting always to face old teammates. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, and the LCS has changed again. I feel like every split we get some changes. I think for the better though. Best of threes versus best of ones. What are your thoughts on that?
I prefer best of threes for sure. I just think they give a lot more room for creativity, for like adaptations, for flexibility. I think a team is able to show a lot more of their strengths and weaknesses during a best of three. So I personally enjoyed that a lot more, which is like when we went to MSI, it was evident that we hadn't had too much best of practices. So I do prefer best of threes.
Even if it comes at the cost of only a single round robin, you only play teams once?
Of course, I think there's like the pros and cons because at the day maybe like you just weren't on or you change your mind on what you should play or what you should do for the next week. I think in that sense it is a bit of a disadvantage, but I think overall it's a positive because you just get more chances to show how flexible your team is. So I think it is a positive.
Thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to see more of this guy. I really like Massu. I like the fact that he's in the league. I like how he takes everything as a learning opportunity. And yeah, I think in the long term he can really stay and become like the foundation for FlyQuest, kind of like how Blabber and Core DJ are for their teams. I want to see that Dig versus Fly matchup. I want to see, what sort of promos Riot is going to do for that. I might do something for myself to kind of promote that. But yeah, I think it'll be exciting, and I would like if you guys would subscribe. That would be really cool, actually.